All right, so this will hopefully be one of the first of many race review videos. Now, the reason I'm doing these videos is because this is actually something that I already do myself. I do it myself on quite a consistent basis after every single race, and this is actually half of the reason I have the GoPro in the first place is not to make YouTube videos for like the 20 or so people that watch them. The reason I make them is so that I can go look at my videos after the race just to analyze, like, what did I do wrong? What did I can do better? And just generally to review from a dispassionate place so that I can do better next time. And so I figured, hey, I already do this. Why don't I just upload it and kind of share what my thought process is so that you can learn how I approach it and why, I do well on the races that I do well and why I don't do well on the races that I don't do well. As a preface, while we're on the topic of things we're doing well or not, I was in a pretty good mood this day. Wasn't really dealing with any other bullshit outside of racing. Sometimes I come to races and I've had like 3 meetings on the day before and I got 6 hours of sleep. Those races are always tough because you don't have the full facilities at your disposal to perform at the level that you want to. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling and get right into it. So, for the start, we're in the pits right now, running out. This part is kind of boring because, well, there's not really that much to talk about, so I am going to skip ahead. Get us back to the... Okay, so now... Okay, can we get good quality video, please? Thank you. Jesus Christ, how hard is this? I only pay Cox like a shit ton of money every day. So, we are at the start-finish straight. We've done our warm-up lap. I have warmed... I've spent a lot of time warming up my tires. I scrub my tires a lot. The reason for that is it's cold. Like, when we did this race, it was about 50 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's about, I don't know, 5 to 10 degrees Celsius, maybe 12. So you can actually see in the background there, number 8 driver had spun out. So it was that cold, and I'm kind of laughing at it because it was pretty entertaining. So yeah, I'm starting in 3rd in this race. Number 20 and the 23 drivers, the one right in front of me and the one to my left in the croc cart, were drafting me qualifying, so they got a nice 1st and 2nd, so good for them, smart move, you got to take those opportunities when they come. And so we are lining ourselves up on the start-finish straight, coming out of the bull ring. 20 is pole, so I am right behind him, and we are just about getting ready to go. As you can see, we're coming around right now. The start zone is between that first cone and that box down there, and we are moving, and we get a green flag. 20 gets a pretty decent start, so does the 23 driver. I have to say, my start was pretty great, and I got a nice little bump there. I was going to protect the inside, and I just went in the inside anyway. Instead of protecting it, I just said, screw it, I'm going to pass it, be slow. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. We get into turn 8, and a massive slide. I mean, my tires were freezing cold, and just... I didn't expect that. I'm not even going to lie. I did not expect that slide to happen. And I actually thought I was going to get passed right away when I came through that corner because that slide was massive. And I was so slow coming out of that corner. But I actually got pretty lucky. But you can still see here, there's a lot of correction. I had a little bit of a slip on turn-in. Again, it's kind of it's loosey-goosey right now because the tires are still not coming in. Even after a lot of scrub, there's another slide right there. And so we're coming into 5. Again, this track has been practiced on a lot coming up to this race, and we're still sliding even though the track is pretty rubbered in. And that's just down to the cold, and it takes some time, even though I was running on really high pressures to get those tires up to temperature. So now that I am in 1st place, the objective is just go as fast as you freaking can and hope that 2nd and 3rd and 4th and 5th fight with each other, and then you'll get a nice little gap formed. Unfortunately, that didn't really happen this race. They did fight a little bit, but not enough to make a difference. So they weren't really able to... Well, I wasn't really able to pull away, but they also weren't extremely on my bum the whole time. So you can kind of see sometimes when you're not super quick. You have guys pushing you through the corners. I was barely getting pushed. I get pushed not very often, actually. I usually had really good corner exits. That one was pretty decent right there as well. Unfortunately, this might be a little bit of a boring, at least first part to watch, because I am leading a lot of it, and that is the shitty part about being in first place is, well, you don't get an entertainment source in front of you. You just get all the pressure of about 9 to 15 or 20 other drivers behind you who all want your spot. So that's always a little bit of fun. So we're coming around the start-finish straight again. This is an 8-lap heat, so it's not very long. It's actually quite short, and it takes less than 9 minutes, about 7 minutes start to finish. And so number 8 driver slots in there nicely. His kart was very, very grippy and very stiff. See, there's upsides and downsides to running a 2-stroke frame, which he had, and I have a designated 4-stroke frame VLR, and so he's running that 2-stroke. It's very stiff, it handles very well through turn 5, it plants it, right? But then you can see in other corners like 8, he's just very unstable. Right here, he's also very stable, whereas I have to take a little bit of speed out of it to make sure that I don't step out, whereas he can carry more. But it does neutralize itself throughout the course of the rest of the lap. That being the difference between having a 2-stroke frame and a 4-stroke frame is on some corners the 2-stroke frames do better, and on some corners the 4-stroke frames do better. And you can see it's a lot more stable, even hopping that curb right there, than mine. So I have to drive a little bit differently than he does. And again, it's very squirrely in that particular section. So you can see the difference between those two frames is very abundant. So right here, he got so busy looking back at me that he forgot where to drive. At least I think that's what he was doing. I don't really know. This is a brand new frame he's running, by the way, so if it looks clean, there's a reason for it. That thing has never been raced up until today, as far as I know of. So, yeah, you can see that stiffness. It's cocking up the inner left wheel going through off camber. So, now the objective is just to push him and take him and myself, because I can tell I'm a little bit faster than him, but there's still someone pretty close behind me. So my objective right now is follow him as closely as I can and make sure that his lap time is as fast as possible, so that my lap time is also as fast as possible, and then hope that third and fourth and fifth place and all those other guys start fighting each other, and then they lose a lot of ground. Not working out great. We weren't really pulling any kind of gap. There was like a couple kart lengths, but in 206, when you have the draft, you make that up in a lap or two, so it doesn't really make much of a difference. So at this point, I'm kind of sensing, I think we're about 2 laps. See, we're 3 laps. Yeah, we're 2 laps to go. You can see over those two, that green and white flag. So we're 2 laps to go. It's make or break time. I don't really want to be sitting behind this guy because it's just a surefire way to lose, you know, second place, because you're gonna get passed. Everyone tries to pass in the last lap. So nail that exit at 8. He hops that curb. Terrible exit. And so this is my opportunity right away. Get a little bit of a draft to boost me through. And we are through. We have the race lead. And so we're going to defend the inside a little bit here, just to make sure that no one dive bombs me into 8. Both of the guys I'm running with have 2-stroke frames, so they're very stable through Daytona, and they can take a lot more speed going into that corner and get up alongside you, so I have to defend that a lot more strategically. So we are up onto the last lap, white flag right now, and just driving it defensively. I mean, what we want to do at this point is make it 99% impossible to really put it on the inside, to the point that I could close the door on him at any point. Now, here's where it gets dicey. The kart that you see right in front of me, the 903 kart, performed what we call a push to pass. So what happens is you push someone going into the braking zone, and what happens when you do that is, we're going to go back here and review this actually. There's a reason this is an illegal move. Now, what we see happen here is we're going into the braking zone, right? My wheel's still straight, and now look at all that corrective movement I have to do, and I'm pushed out really wide really early. So what he does is he pushes me through, so I have way more speed coming out of that corner, and that's how he gets past. Now, obviously, you can't make contact with somebody and get past them like that. That's not how racing works. However, what then ended up happening is, because he did that, the number 8 driver took note. He saw that opportunity and he slotted right in. 903 should have protected that inside line. That's how he would have maintained a first place position. But because he was so hell-bent on trying to kill me and push me off the track right here, you can kind of start to see he's cutting across on me right there. So you see that right underneath my knee, right on top of my knee right here, you can see his front left wheel. And so he's moving towards the left. And I know this guy. I know how he races, so I know I'm not going to get any room and I'm going to be in the dirt. And that's my race done. So instead, I just lift off the gas very briefly and then pull right back. And this is the perfect opportunity to open itself in because he took that opportunity and suddenly I can get the draft up the hill. And I thought about passing him, but then you can't see this in the video, but he was right on the left side. So we would have been 3 wide. It would have been, I don't remember exactly. See, this is one of those things that I probably could have put it in the inside. We would have been 3 wide. That was an option. Would it have worked? Maybe. We were on a longer gearing, so we would have gotten side by side with that croc, but that's one thing that remains to be seen. It would have been dicey, that's for sure. So that's one of those moves where you kind of have to consider where you're at in your position and how much risk you want to take, and that's a quick calculation you have to make. I decided not to make it because it's the heat, and the heat doesn't count for points. The heat just counts for your starting position in the main. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to get second place at this point. I already know it. There's no way he's going to take me on the outside through Daytona here. So I just protect the inside going to off-camber just like the number 8 driver is. He has a slide. There's not really anything he can do against that. He's got that easy peasy. He saw the opportunity. He took it. Taking advantage of other people's mistakes, and that's really, it's a great way to gain positions, and it's a very smart way to race. So you have to respect that, and you cannot be mad about situations like that. You got to find ways to anticipate and counter against people making illegal moves on you. The 908 driver, or was 903 I think, did receive a penalty for that. Of course, that doesn't change the outcome of the race for me because I passed him on track anyway, but he did start the next race in, I want to say, 5th or 6th or something way back. So that did decrease the liability, and this is the vein. We'll do a review of this later. Peace.